So welcome, welcome. I'm Jasmin Soleil, and I'm really, really, really excited to be here with Sarai Schneider, and
Hi.
the lovely Sarai Schneider,
Oh,
should I say.
shucks.
And we are bringing forward this new moon. We're anchoring in this potent energy that is the first new moon of the year. And I don't know if you're feeling it. Let me know if you're feeling it, but it's pretty powerful. Um, we're just on the cusp of the eclipse season as well. So this is opening the portal to, um, the waning period. I mean, the waxing period, excuse me, where we're beginning to focus and vision on our dreams. Now, we've had from the new year until now to really get clear on what it is that we want to bring into this year and bring into this next cycle. And so Sarai and I are going to be sharing a little bit about that today, and we're also going to be sharing about the new year and the energies that we have to look forward to this year, and what we came out of and what we're moving into, which is a nature year and a year of authenticity. So, it's a time to really look in and see what's coming up for you as a person and us as a collective, and, connect deeper into our sense of authenticity and ask ourselves, are we on the path that we really wish to be on? Are we on a path of purpose? And how do we create that path? How do we deepen into that path? How do we bring our vision into being and go the distance
Mm.
with our goals? So how can we create that? We'll be looking at how we can cultivate a practice for self-nourishment, which we feel is central to creating that pathway. And we'll also be welcoming the ancestors as our guides. I will be sharing a little bit more about that. And I am pretty excited to hear about, what she has to say about that tradition, about tuning into the ancestors as helpers and support for us to bridge the gap between what we're working with and what we can bring to the world. So before we get to that, though, I'd like to just share a little bit about the new moon being this potent time, and how we can cultivate that. I mean, the many cultures use the moon as their guide and for creating cycles and rhythms. And that's part of my passion, is to bring that sense of beingness, that connection to our rhythms and our cycles into the world, and not look really at, what's going on outside and the realms that could be very chaotic, but to start to bring that sense of intention and interest into what is going on inside of you. So without further ado, I'd love to have Sarai share a little bit about.
Hi. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Miss Jazz. Thank you for that sweet little introduction and getting us rolling here. And yeah, I'm excited. In a minute or so, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of welcome in the ancestors, which is just a huge part of what I do in my own personal practice and what I feel holds us all together, or they hold us all together, certainly. For those of you watching who know my invocations, we're not going full throttle this evening, but but I've already sort of gently opened the space before starting, and so really wanting to welcome in their wisdom and talk a little bit about in the Dagro tradition, from which I studied from in West Africa, we're moving from a fire year into a nature year. I'm going to speak a little bit and let them speak a little bit about what that means, about where we came from and what we're moving into, and the support that they've already, as I kind of tuned into them today, brought through a little ritual to share with you guys that is pretty sweet. And they're excited. They're always excited. They're always excited when people gather and are curious to connecting with their ancestors, because they know change happens from that place. And since we're talking tonight specifically about transformation, transformation and authenticity, tools for transforming ourselves into more authentic beings, I think is really what they're hoping to touch on this evening. And so I think I'm just going to move into that right here and now. So got my rattle here. I'm going to give it a little gentle shake, but and just start welcoming in everyone to join us, all of our ancestors, all of those who are conspiring really to see us succeed in the world. So we walk with them, they walk with us, whether or not we know it. And so, yeah, I can already kind of feel that energy building. And so I just invite anyone who is tuning in this evening to also just out loud to yourselves, welcome in your ancestors, welcome in those known and unknown to join you here today, to join us in this sort of collective little heart space that we're creating here this evening. And so here we go, just kind of taking a second to drop in. Whew. It's an interesting dynamic to kind of feel the energy build and want to drop back down in. and so I welcome all of our ancestors. I welcome you all to be here. Welcoming you all to be here, to come to gather around this funny virtual space that we're collected in, knowing that they can hold us in any space, knowing that they are not bound by space and time. They join us, they come together and create this interesting collective circle around us, welcoming us all, welcoming you all, welcoming my ancestors, Jasmin's ancestors, welcoming Melanie and Catherine, welcoming all of your ancestors, welcoming Holly's ancestors. I think there's Matthew Neves, whom I don't know, but welcoming his ancestors as well, welcoming Thorne's ancestors, welcoming all those who are here, all those that wish they could be here, all those that may be here in the future, welcoming all of our ancestors to come around this circle, this internal fire, for collective conversation. Knowing that so much is at stake at this time, that we're on the cusp of so much in our own lives and the world around us. We're on the verge of great change, of great transformation, and we're at the forefront. We're at the cusp of this time of change. And so this is why it's so important. This is why it's so important at this time to really work through those obstacles, those things that those stories that we've created about what's in our way, and they're excited to help us move through these obstacles, these self-created or otherwise created obstacles. And so the ancestors are showing up with great joy. They're excited, and I'm welcoming in all of the nature spirits as well, because they're excited too. They want to bring in the levity and the playfulness back to transformation. They're saying we're so serious. We're so serious. We take ourselves so serious. They're like saying silly humans. Oh, it doesn't do anybody any good to be so serious. They say transformation can be playful, it can be fun, it can be wild, it can be exciting, as well as holding a depth and a sacredness in a groundedness. There can be all of these things through a dance of transformation. And so I welcome you all, welcoming all of the nature spirits. I can't welcome Kintomble, welcoming Kintomble, welcoming all of the forest and fairy spirits, welcoming all of the water spirits, welcoming all of Mama Gaia's earth spirits, Welcoming the mighty, mighty mountain spirits. I'm welcoming you all and honoring you all and thanking you all for joining us in this wild and woolly portal we're entering this evening. Thank you all so much, I say. Um, so, from that place, just wanting to talk a minute about the sort of transition that we're in from fire to nature. And so, again, in the Dagger tradition, we've just coming out of a fire year. We have walked through the fire, and we're still here. And we're still standing. And, there's lots we could say about the coming year. Maybe you're already feeling it. Maybe it doesn't need to be said. We could talk about not too much about the current administration. And what's interesting about all of that is that as pissed off as we are, honestly, let's be truthful, and as upsetting as it is, it's also lit a fire within us. It's lit a fire within us. What are we on fire with right now? It's stirred us up. It stirred up our fire. So what are we fired up about right now? What through this year of walking through the fire what's it stirred up in us? And fire itself is a form of transformation. And so, from that perspective as well, fire in a sense can reduce us to ashes. Many of us have had a hard year and have felt crumbled and kind of the words that are coming through are like beaten down. And from those ashes, though, we have to remember that's where the phoenix rises. And so we are constantly in a state of rebirth and renewal. And so here we are. Our fire is up, our passions are stirred, and we're moving now into a nature year. And so if we're walking from this intensity into nature, thinking about the energy of nature. And I know when I go into nature, it's like a deep sigh of relief. So we're exiting the fire year and we're going into this year of transformation. And it's a different kind of transformation than fire. It's slow. You can't rush nature. You can't say, hurry up, grow that branch. And the beautiful thing about being in nature is when you walk through nature, everything starts to drop, everything falls away. We put our phones away, we put our distractions away, and we come back to our true nature. We can find ourselves in nature. We can find our authenticity, our true nature. And so, I wanted to, it's also in that realm and watching nature and coming up on a tree and we're looking at this tree and we're paying attention. That tree isn't looking at us going, I don't know how I feel about this branch. I think it needs trim, Nature isn't looking to change anything unnaturally. It's in its own organic process. It doesn't need a trunk tuck, It just is. And those are the gifts that nature gives us. Freshness. I've become like sinking into this energy of like breathing clean, fresh air, like breathing that in with every cell in our body. And what that does and what that reminds us of, our own freshness, our own ability to renew ourselves. And so, moving a little bit, I know we're gonna, let me pause for a second. Hi. I'm like gonna just go on and like let me just check in with everybody there and see who's on with us, if there are any questions about that far, if anyone has a comment or wants to jump in with anything as I put on my spectacles.
You look so
okay. Well,
spectacles.
My spectacles so I can read you all. And another piece I just want to add is that nature doesn't judge. We're so hard on ourselves. Or we can have that tendency, especially when we're trying to. Oh, Melanie, thank you. How can I keep nature with me in the concrete jungle? Yeah. That's That's
exactly.
awesome.
Decision.
And that's an awesome question. And actually, when and it's hard. It's hard when we can't when we have our day to day, and it's hard to get out into nature sometimes. And I know it's certainly part of the reason for my moving up to Seattle is to be closer. And still, sometimes it's hard. And I'm you there? And I'm actually one of the I was thinking about like we're talking about tools for transformation today, and um, I was reflecting on the different rituals and things that I know, but actually they came through with a very specific ritual, and maybe Melanie, this will help answer your question, because they were talking about we in the new moon we plant seeds, we plant our intentions, etc., especially new moon, new year. And what they specifically were wanting to address is what if we intentionally planted seeds for our transformation? So we can have goals and we can have intentions, but what is it within ourselves? And we kind of put in the body of our little description there. What within us do we feel needs a little transformation? If we're talking about wanting to, hi Dina, wanting to move through some obstacles, what within us or perhaps without us is needing to shift? And so they actually showed me a little ritual about planting actual seeds, getting some seeds. Maybe they're flowers, maybe it's your favorite vegetable, maybe plant, a fern, whatever it is, but growing something from seed.
Mm-hmm.
And so depending if we're in the concrete jungle or we're already in nature, we can plant that in a pot. We can plant that in our garden. We can plant it in a pot and move it to the garden. But, what they're saying is to plant each seed with intention. And so if we're planting seeds for our own transformation, we're nurturing ourselves. This is, something that we're growing from seed and we're growing into. And so as we're planting these seeds, maybe not too many, maybe just really being clear and planting each one. And then what is it we need to do to nurture those into being as we're growing these seeds into, ultimately whatever we're planting, let's say a sunflower for now. And so what do? We water it, we tend to it, maybe we sing to it, maybe we speak kindly to it. What do we need if these seeds represent ourselves and that which we're wanting to shift and change within ourselves? How are we going to treat it? We treat this as we would hopefully treat ourselves. We treat it tenderly, lovingly, kindly. And so it's like, I'm kind of being reminded of a dream I had a long time ago. And I had actually grown a geranium plant from seed. And in this dream, it had grown to like the ceiling. It was massive. It was huge. And it was in somebody else's house. And I remember looking at this plant and saying, oh, it's time to take it home. And so take it home. We're nurturing, we're changing, we're growing. So let's tend to this plant as we would tend to ourselves is really the ritual they were doing. So no intentions, really the intentions are for us. We're nurturing ourselves at this time, and that's what the ancestors are really wanting. They're wanting us to take our time, to have patience. What? Patience? To move slowly, to move gently. And so, that's what they're really hoping for is that we can slow down enough to really tend to the things that are important to us. Melanie, thank you. To really just find that time. Hi, Lily. To really nurture those seeds into being, to really create that space for change to happen. And that takes some dedication. It takes some commitment to really want to do that, to create that space in our daily lives. Hi, in our daily lives to nurture ourselves. And that's basically what we're doing when we if we choose to accept this ritual and take it on, So I'm going to pause there. Yeah. Just check in with Miss Jazz there. I know you had some lovely things to contribute on this subject as well.
Yeah, I mean, all of that is is so wonderful, and I love that a ritual came through because to me, that's what's really anchoring me in each day, and those are the things I think we need to kind of bring back into our lives, just little simple rituals that we
Mm.
can do every day to generate that energy. And if it's even just like symbolically watering that plant, that seed of self nourishment, um, it can be that symbolic connection that you're having.
And that's
And
simple too. Yeah.
be offering at the end of the call a few other things that we can do, some practical, simple rituals that we can use for transformation. And those are the things essentially that are going to bring us through the long haul, are those little things that we do every single day. So,
Hmm. Exactly. Those
making,
are things that bring us home to ourselves.
yeah.
Those moments of connection.
And all we really need to do is, I mean, we all know this, it's just to remain inspired, you know? So,
And I think that's
uh,
where we have this little plant being that's sitting. Hopefully, maybe we have an altar to place it on, and if it's looking a little weary, you know, look to yourself. What does it need right now? What do I need right now? That if that plant is thirsty, my goodness, what's going on with me that I've been so distracted? So just it's opportunities to check in.
yeah.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I'm always like loving how nature just shows us the way, and like you said, that the ancestors always point us to that, like
Mm.
remember nature, remember the earth, and so I feel like that's my big piece is to draw that in. It's where are we sourcing our energy from?
Hmm. Mm.
Sustaining. Those are the questions that are coming in for me this year. It's about sustenance,
Mm.
sustaining, and simplicity. Those are my words. And uh, synchronicity. I feel like, another S word.
We can go with that.
So I kind of want to put that out there for everyone right now, and we can share now or later. But how see, just tune in to what words are coming in for you that will be your compass, that'll be your guide for this year. And if you want to share that too in the comments, that would be amazing because I'd love to hear what words are coming through for you. But yeah, back to that sustenance, our connection to Mother Earth, to Gaia, is our ultimate connection. And, we're walking around, we're in the concrete jungle, like Melanie said, and we're just with our rubber shoes, sole shoes, everywhere. Because our feet are all scrunched up, and, it's like, how do we feel that connection when we don't have that physical connection often?
Mm.
Often struggle with this during the winter, even wearing socks all the time. I mean, I feel my connection to the earth when I'm barefoot. So, doing these things, these simple things to connect us, there's other ways that we can connect to nature, like, gardening, creating a garden inside, creating, something where you can feel that connection, making sure you get outside every day, even if it's, for an hour just to get some fresh air, you know, and consciously bringing you know, your mind, your heart, your body into union with the earth beneath you. It doesn't take that much to realign.
Hmm.
So, um, another simple ritual that you can do that I would love to bring forward is, upon waking. Um, this is a big piece. I'm really big about morning ritual, morning
Mm.
routine, because I feel like that tone really sets the day. So, whatever you do in the morning is going to set the tone for your day. So, if you can take that, that few minutes in the morning to really breathe in and center into your body and root into the earth, and just consciously like tune in to the earth that's beneath us. And it really just takes our, you know, imagination, which, you know, we have access to all the time, to just kind of like go there and open up and tune into the earth. In that moment, bring in your breath. And before you wake up, create your intention for the day. Every day is an opportunity for ceremony, for, you know, we are living a ceremony every day. So if we start to bring in the consciousness around that, around the things that we do in the morning, around how we're treating ourselves, around how we're treating others, step by step, these little simple things can take us there. And do you have anything to add to that? I
No,
feel
that's
like you.
beautiful. As I'm listening to that, it's important when I think about when I take the time to do, just pause even for a minute in the morning versus, rushing through it and getting out the door. It really does shift something and it doesn't have to be anything crazy and fancy. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be just as simple. For me, I roll out of bed and I got my altar, right? I don't know if we can all see it here, but that's the first thing I see in the morning. And not everybody has that, but for me, it just reminds me to just take a minute and pause and say hello. Say hello to myself, say hello to my body, say hello to my ancestors. I'm like, okay. And really, it can take no more than 5 minutes to just shift your energy in a day. And again, we're talking about things to kind of go the distance, right? And so little things to start our day, little things, little rituals that become ways of engaging in deeper ways over time. And so we start to cultivate a relationship with the ancestors, with ourselves, whatever it is we're hoping to grow within us. Again, it's different ways of creating the space to do that as well. So yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you like, we could actually go there for a minute and just
Do you want to go there for a minute?
try it out right now, because this is something you can do every day in the morning and any time during the day where you're starting to feel like you're losing your energy, where you're losing
Mm-hmm.
the source. And it's just as simple as just taking a moment and taking your hands. So I invite you to do this by taking your hands, and you can start when you wake up. And I do this when I wake up. Just putting your hands across your chest and gently giving yourself a hug. So it's like you're greeting yourself in the morning.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it feels really good. It feels really good to wake up and just give yourself that space. Like, okay, I'm here. I feel my skin. And, a lot of times when we wake up, all the worries and the stress and all that stuff comes up
Mm.
too. So this is a way to kind of redirect that energy to, cultivating, nurturing, nourishment, self-love. So all you need to do is take a deep breath and just, use your senses and soften. And you can do that in any moment. You can soften. And then you can take your hands and just lightly go over the skin wherever you feel you want to. And just take your time. I'm really enjoying that sense of touch and sense of pleasure. You put your hand on your heart. You can put your hands on your belly. And it depends on how much time you have in the morning. Sometimes I don't have a lot of time because I'm a busy mom, but I try and do this for at least 5 or 10 minutes every day. And, especially on the belly, we carry a lot of our emotions there. So I like to take a lot of time with the belly and just kind of listen. And so just knowing that our body is our compass in this world, it will always tell you the truth. It will never hide things. It's wise, and we need to listen. So this is also cultivating that practice for listening to your body. And what will happen when you listen is your body will be happy. It's true. Once you listen and you meet whatever is there, all you need to do is listen, and then it's like the stress and the tension and the anxiety will start to dissipate.
Mm.
So you have all of this, and you're, right here. You don't need any special tools or anything. You just need your hands, and you just need your heart and your consciousness. And you're basically just bringing awareness and love into your body, making it important, making it the most important part of, your day. And then when you get up, you can put your feet on the ground. And I know Wayne Dyer used to do this, is he would say thank you the minute he put his feet on the ground. So I like to
Mm.
practice and just say thank you. Thank you for this miracle of this body, of this life, of every breath I'm taking. And it's just a new way to start the day. So that is just my morning ritual that I like to offer. Something simple, 10 minutes. And then again, you can do that throughout the day. Just check in. And then we can do this as well. I'll offer this. You can do a body scan. You can do a body scan to see what's going on in your body, where the tension is. And then always sinking back down into your root, because that's our place of safety. So knowing that, this is what we're cultivating here on Earth, is this place of safety, this sense of safety. And that's a big one for all of us.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that invitation to start the day in a different way. And I like, as we're talking about transformation and authenticity, as they sort of go hand in hand, that's an invitation to create space in your own body for, your authenticity, for your new true nature to come forward. Because again, so much of our day is consumed by screens. The irony is not lost that we're on one right now, and just getting through our day. And so really inviting spaciousness within our body, finding that space to just remember who we are, where we are in every moment. From that place is when change happens. um,
Oh, and this is
uh,
a big epidemic, right now. I have
yeah,
it too. Addicted to technology. My kids are addicted. I mean, we're all, and
absolutely.
I can see why. It's like a moth to light, So we are. It takes us out of our bodies.
Exactly, exactly. And again,
So
returning to nature, coming back to ourselves, coming back to our bodies,
yeah,
and even if we're in the city, just taking a minute to land our feet, stand up. It's just it's landing in our bodies is landing with the earth, connecting to the mother, connecting to the earth, allowing her to anchor us. Anchoring is a big word that's up for me these days, finding different ways of anchoring. Anchoring into our bodies, because yes, it's true, we leave them all the time. We can, walk into any mall and you see people wandering around not in their bodies. As the good, it's interesting to watch.
well, a lot of us.
And it's an interesting place to pause and take that deep breath and drop into your body and be like, okay, here we go. So we can have those moments throughout the day to just check in and create that spaciousness for ourselves, if nothing else. And hopefully that becomes a little more contagious.
Well, I felt like checking in with everyone who's
Mhm.
watching. Does anyone have anything they want to share around what we're saying? I'd love to hear questions or
Question.
comments. If anyone has anything they'd like to add.
Hmm. I know people are it's typing or not. It's okay if there aren't any questions.
Well, feel free to add something after the video.
Yeah.
So we'll have this video up on this event, and you can watch it again if you want. And and we can talk too about a little bit about our class.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah. If everyone Melanie, there it is. I knew she had something. I think I lose track of when to check in. Do you set reminders? You can. And
That's a
Holly's
really good.
typing. Okay. So I was kind of wondering. So, Melanie, it's funny actually. So I massage people for a living. I put my hands on people, amongst other things that I do. And one of the places I work at, I work at a busy office. And so I will tell them to set reminders on their computer. Set it on your phone, to turn those things off and go take a walk, to stretch at your desk, to, again, close your eyes for just a minute and breathe, whatever it takes. I'm constantly encouraging people to take a break and get up and walk around and shake it off. And so yeah, there's no shame in setting reminders for yourself, whatever works for you. And these days, if it's a phone, if it's a big foghorn sound that says, hey, it's time to stop. Maybe you set a couple throughout the day, little reminders on your calendar that just say breathe. Again, whatever vehicle works for you.
Yeah.
I need something stamped in the middle of my forehead. Yeah, breathe. I know it's so simple, but so true. And Holly, okay. Holly says, I really love the idea of checking in, stepping into gratitude first thing in the morning. That's setting the tone for the day. It is so easy to go into autopilot, turn on phone, etc. Yep, thanks for that. Oops, Seymour. Oh, Holly. Okay. Sweet little ritual. Yay. Thank you, Holly. And it's true. It's so easy to go into autopilot, right? We wake up, for many of us, our phone is our alarm. And so that's the first thing we grab for, and then we start scrolling. It's a thing. And so, yeah, it's actually on my list of things to do to get. I actually turn my phone on airplane mode at night, which I know some people are uncomfortable with, but my opinion is if I'm going to read bad news, I just don't do it on a good night's sleep. So, however, getting an actual alarm clock that doesn't include plugging your phone into it to wake you up is also a nice way to find different ways of starting today, because sometimes we need help breaking these habits. It's so funny for those of us, yeah, who were raised partially in a generation that didn't have little computers in our hands, to all of a sudden being a part of this age where it's might as well be in our eyeballs at this point. So however we encourage each other to put the phones away, to put away the devices. The ancestors are really fond of asking people to put the devices down. They say devices. I like that because they're devices.
I've been doing that, and I like friend. I'm spending time with friends who are like not into devices, and it's been great. It makes me feel like all, healthy and whole and innocent again.
Although I do want to take a photo. I'm such a nature photo person, so I have, I put it away. And it's such a beautiful thing to not pull that out sometimes when we're in nature, and actually when we, turn those things off, then we can tune into the actual frequencies of nature and the earth. And those are the frequencies we want to align ourselves with, right? Ideally, it returns us to our natural rhythm. Again, coming back to nature, nature has a rhythm all its own, and we're constantly asking nature to catch up with us instead of actually listening to nature and slowing down to be with them. And so to be with them, to be with nature, them, yeah, hearts, look at the hearts. And so that's a big message I've received from the ancestors and from being in nature is slowing down and slowing down to that frequency and really readjusting our own. Nature is beautiful for that very thing, to really adjust our frequency. And it can clear us. It can really clear our spirit. We all, I don't know anyone who doesn't come back from a day in nature not feeling refreshed. So yeah, another one of those.
Been making do Sundays screen free as well, and just going to
Mm-hmm.
nature and just being
Free Sunday.
sitting. They say that trees actually neutralize EMF energy.
Yes.
The way you can work with that too. So, and I realized like no one's going to do it for me. No one's going to say, hey, get off your screen. Well, my husband does, but But really, it's me that has to be like, okay, this is really important. You have to prioritize. I
Mhm.
know this is my connection. There's a deeper thing here. And it's not only that the mother, connecting to Mother Earth is good for you, but it will also help you to connect to your purpose. Can that be
Yeah.
true?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
we all live in this world, but we're not, when you're connected to the earth, you are living from, more of your truth
Hmm.
and working with you. She's working with you to bring that forward. So there's like a mutual reciprocal relationship happening.
Symbiotic.
And we want that. We all want more purpose. We all want more truth in our world,
Well, yeah, we're
our
not going to
lives.
find it in our little devices. The answer isn't there.
Right.
Even
And
if we
that's the
like.
other thing with the devices is that we're getting our power from outside. So
Hmm. Hmm.
ancestors are reminding us, go back to your source, go back to, you know, the earth,
Return
go back
home.
to true abundance,
Hmm.
our true connection.
Wonderful. Okay.
So, yeah, and speaking of all of that, I mean, how do you feel? Kind of
I
like
like.
we're transitioning a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're wrapping things up here,
Good.
bringing it to a close. Um,
Well,
yeah.
so speaking of that, speaking of our truth, speaking of our purpose, speaking of our dreams, I'd love to kind of end on that note.
Yeah.
And close is, connecting into uh, that well of our dreams, of what we're bringing
Hmm.
forward into the world, and each one of us has our own, you know, uh, you know, dream. As we're young, we dream. As we grow old, sometimes those things kind of die. We start to um, get a little bruised up or forgetful, or who knows, life experience might kind of take us down. And so, what Sarai and I are doing is we're wanting to bring this work so that we can remind each other to keep it steady, to keep it going, to that your dreams and your visions are important, and your
Mm.
gifts in the world are are important. That's why you're here, and that's what the ancestors really, from the work I've experienced with you, are really pushing towards as well. So when you create that relationship with them and know that they are wanting us to fulfill our purpose.
Mm. Hmm.
And, a lot of times when we're dancing in our shadows and we can get stuck there,
Hmm.
and don't take the inspired action that we need to really move forward because of those fears. And so, what we'd like to cultivate is that space for us to be able to keep moving forward and not keep falling back into the fear patterns. And, to look at your shadows, to be able to see them and to work with them, and also at the same time be like, okay, I know I'm ready now. I see you, but I am ready to move forward in my life. And, um, through the classes that we're going to be offering, we'd like to hold the container for that.
Yeah. Fear can be our friend. It can be our teacher. We just have to invite it in for tea and sit and have a conversation with it. And I love there's it's so silly, but it's a meme. It's like sometimes I wrestle with my demons and sometimes we just snuggle. And so, yeah, what if we what if we invite that in? What if we snuggle, get snuggle, get close with the things that we fear the most? What if we invite them in and get to know them and become friends with what we're afraid of? And through that, the way we move through fear is with trust. We trust if we're cultivating a relationship, with ourselves, with community, with spirit, with our ancestors, and trust that we're not doing this alone. We're not here to do it alone. We're not meant to do it alone. We're not on a solo journey, folks. We can't. I mean, we can be, but we have our own individual paths to walk. But we can support each other along the way, and reflect to each other the best within each other. And so that's what we're hoping to pull together here. That's what we're hoping to create, is to create that safe space, to go deep and to nurture our true nature.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And to dance with our dreams and to make, to start to open up, because, as you listen to your body, by doing those simple rituals, this is another way you can open up, is by opening up to your dreams. And that could be your, both sides of dreams, the dreams that you have at night and also the dreams that you have during the day. You're always dreaming. So it's really about opening up and creating that relationship and starting to listen. And so that's what we'll be tending to in our next time together, which will be beginning February 15th. And so I will leave a link on the event page if any of you are interested in learning more about that. We're really excited for all of you who have joined and who are going to join in the future and watching this video. And I'll just go through quickly the 3 classes. Is that good? You down with that? So each of the classes will be on the new moon. So we'll be, utilizing the new moon's energy to create purpose in our lives for that moon and beyond. The first one will be February 15th. And again, we're going to tune in with the ancestors. I think, Sarai, you want to do something a little more deep?
Well, yeah. This is the following classes will be on Zoom, so it'll be a more private setting. So I'm a little more comfortable going full throttle with the invocation in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Private container, so it'll be a little more close, closed.
Yeah. Closed container.
Yeah. So we'll be able to access those energies in an even, deeper way, which is great. Because I love those ancestors.
Crazy. And awesome.
That class will be working with the ancestors and connecting in a little bit more about sacred nourishment. And it will be around Valentine's Day. So, it's kind of fun to kind of offshoot on that. So we'll be working through, our connection to self-love and transformation and offering a ritual around that. The second class will be about the new moon in Pisces, March 15th, which will be personal growth and creativity and connecting into vision and courage. So we'll be talking about that. And the third class will be the new moon in Aries. So that will be, the time of pushing forward. It'll be a time of cultivating adventure and setting your sights on where you want to be going, for the next few months through spring and summer. We'll be talking about community, and we'll be talking about one of my favorite things, magic. And it won't only be talking, we'll be sharing.
And yeah, the wonderful thing about Zoom is there's a lot more opportunity for communication on that for everyone to participate too.
Yes. So we're really excited about that. And again, I will post the link. Is there anything else you wanted to share, Sarai?
If we're kind of closing up here, I just want to take a second, as always, to give thanks and honor the ancestors for helping hold this container, and thank all of you for joining us today, those who popped in and out and those who are still here. Thank you so much. And again, just formally closing the portal with the ancestors, giving thanks, letting them know they're like They're saying thank you. They're saying thank you as well. They're excited. They're excited for what's happening. They're excited for change. They're excited for everyone who joined us and beyond. And they're grateful that people are paying attention, and that are tuning into themselves, into the world around them in ways that are, they're saying in ways that haven't been explored before. And so they're excited that this is happening and that we're on the cusp of something really big. And so they're excited. And so I'm excited. So giving thanks to the ancestors, giving thanks to all of you. Shay, thank you.
Thank you. And I feel too, as you spoke, that the people that are showing up are really bringing big things into the world this year.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like there's around material wealth, prosperity. These are topics we could also talk about.
Totally.
And I'm really excited to connect with you all again. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sarai.
Thank you, Jasmin.
Creating space with me. And I feel also like leaving you all with a little challenge for the new moon is, you know, what are your 3 words? What are your 3 words that you're cultivating for this year? Just tune in, listen in, and see what words want to come for you and write those down. And then also, you know, listen to your dreams. I feel like we've opened the portal towards the ancestors. They're going to be working in dreams tonight and probably throughout this moon. So pay attention and see what comes forward. And I look forward to all of us connecting again soon in the future.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'm going to ring the bowl to
Ring
close
the
it out.
bells. Ring the bells so still can ring.
Any other questions that anyone has or comments before we?
Lots of hearts. Lots of hearts. I'm getting from Melody. Thank you, Melody. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
And thank
Well,
you, Holly. Thank you, lovelies.
And we'll stay in touch.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.